Well, time for business lessons, and there's no better lesson that you can get than lesson from a person who's experienced, who has gone through something. So, joining us on set is Alex Liwali, who's the CEO and founder of Fundies, and of course, he'll be telling us briefly about his startup story and all the way where he is today, and whether indeed he's picked lessons and challenges that have taught him even more, on how best he can be able to go out there and make the best of his business. And of course, out of all these lessons, we certainly look forward to learn on how best we can as well work with our businesses to make the best out of them. Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for finding time to be with us.
I appreciate it.
Of course, we start off with your story. How did you start up and why did you decide on, of course, Fundies?
So it's a pretty interesting journey because we mark 3 years in the business that we're in right now.
Wow.
But pretty much where we started from was a need that we saw in the market. I had just finished university back then, and that time while you're still exploring what to do, I got to interact with a few friends who were already from the construction industry. And every time we were talking, every time we were having our conversations, I kept hearing them mentioning something that they were going through. So it seemed to me they were having a very big problem finding the right skill set in terms of their projects. And every time we kept talking, I kept learning more. And at some point, I thought this could be very interesting. So if you try to look at the way the industry, especially around the construction industry, the way it works, people will always show up at any construction site and somebody will be telling you, I'm a mason, I'm a carpenter, but you really have no way of telling, are they truly who they say they are?
In line of business, how have you been able to incorporate all these Fundies and put them in one basket for the people to be able to access them?
Yes. Pretty much is a problem, especially when you're solving a problem that you're already going through yourself. I mean, we were already coming from a point where each one of us has had a bad experience with a technician out there. So it was very simple for us because number one, we were simply going out there and asking, is there a really good fundi that you know of, that you have encountered, that you have experienced, that you'd want to recommend? So it was a very easy journey because there are lots of construction projects, lots of things that need to be fixed. And it was very simple to ask people to recommend. And then from there, you just come up with a very nice way of accessing that database. So it wasn't such a big problem because it's a problem that is already there and people are suffering and it's very easy to find. If somebody has had a very good fundi, they are very able to refer you to one. Yes.
All right. So where exactly do we get them, like online and all that?
Is this in reference to when you are asking for, when you're requesting for a
Yes,
fundi?
in the event that you probably want, to get a fundi, or you want to get access to these Fundies.
Okay, pretty much where we are right now is that Fundies is a multiple access point of a platform. So we have both a website and we both also have a mobile app. So you can either download the app or you can simply go to the website, www.fundies.co.ke, and you are able to request for what you are looking for.
All right, that's interesting one. Of course, typically what everyone is going, social media. And I think many people are selling out their products, their services on the internet, a clear indication that eco is the way to go. But that aside, I think there must have been challenges anyway, in as much as maybe you say that, it was pretty much of an easy ride. But then what were the challenges, of course, and what are the challenges in your line of business today that would say, or you would look at, of course, as lessons that you've picked and you've learned from them and moving forward, they have made the best of your business?
And I have lots of those because when we started back in 2016, there were very few people who were also doing this kind of thing. And over time, everyone is now coming into this industry. And obviously, the biggest question usually is, so how are you different from the next guy? And for us, we have always been looking from day one. That has been a challenge, but if you look at it closely, is an opportunity in disguise because it has given us the privilege to always look at what is the other person doing. And we always work with two things. So number one, we talk of uniqueness, and secondly, we look at value. So for us, we have always been trying to build a business that combines uniqueness and value. So what's that one thing that would make you want to request for a fixer on our platform and not any other place? So the way we go about that is lots of added value services. So in terms of, you're not just getting a fundi. So when you're requesting for a fixer from our platform, Number one, we are guaranteeing you that we have already vetted this person. So we are not just sending a stranger to your doorstep. We have clean records about this person. Who are they? Where have they been before? Where have they worked? We are also guaranteeing you on every single job that we are getting done for you. We are giving you a 3 months warranty. So you don't have to worry about if this guy comes and fixes and then the same problem comes back again. Where do I get him? So it's this kind of added value that have enabled us to be able to build that uniqueness and value.
And to deal with the challenges. So that would be the main challenge that you probably have gone through as an entity. So that aside, would certainly be looking at people out there who are watching, and they would be wondering today, where do I start up from? Where do I pick it up from? Especially, like you said, you know, right from campus. In fact, we'd love to know whether you're doing the same thing that you studied in campus. If not, then why? What informed the about turn move? And how confident were you while you were making this about turn?
Well, I'll start with the second question in terms of whether I'm still doing the same thing that I studied in school. And of course not. I'm not doing the same thing. So in fact, in 100 lifetimes, this is something that I would have never thought. So in school, I did legal studies, which is pretty much preparing you for the legal background.
Right.
But on getting out there, there weren't as many opportunities and exciting opportunities and big problems that I would say I would feel needed to be solved right there and then. And how this now came about is when you start seeing a problem that is big enough, a problem that is, once you start solving it, it can keep generating more and more opportunities.
Right.
That's how now we came to it. Yeah.
All right, so it's got nothing to do with your education. Someone out there would be thinking, okay, what then is the essence of me going to school and then again coming to do something different? They probably have the money, but they're struggling to find business that is in connection to what they studied in school. What would be your advice to such a person?
I totally think that education is really okay. And in fact, my advice has always been, let's not say education is not important when you want to go and run, you know, start and set up and grow a business. Because business by itself is a skill. You actually need business skills. And the primary way that you can be able to acquire some of these skills for free is through schooling, is through education. So if you can take the advantage of whatever you are learning in school, whatever you are learning, whatever you are studying, how is it applicable? So for me, how I see education is that, number one, education gives you the basic tools that you need to be able to get started. It enables you to think around things when you were talking things about, let's say, you know, organization building, around, you know, handling people, around influencing people, around interacting with people. All these are skills that can be learned in school. So education is totally fine. The only thing is that I value learning more than education. And learning simply is this. What new thing am I learning today? Am I getting today? What is that one thing that I have learned today that I didn't know yesterday? And that's the whole approach around business. Because there's no business today that you can be able to look at someone and say they are an expert. So the thing is, you should be able to approach it daily as this is day one. And for as long as you can approach it as day one, you will keep learning new things, keep what works, change what doesn't working, and you will keep growing every single bit of it.
Finances, very crucial. We've seen governments going down, we've seen countries going down just because they did not balance their finances very well. So towards the last minute of this session, it's important that we get to understand, I mean, what are the financial lessons that you have picked and you would actually consider them as things that would be of great advice to the people?
The finance bit is an interesting bit because if you talk to any single business, it seems to be the thing that appears to come up again and again and again. And my experience in the few years in this business and other businesses before is that it's a problem that really never goes away. What you need to always be aware of is your top priorities. What are your top priorities? On a scale of 1 to 10, if you have a project that is very urgent, you can't be able to start with the one that is near 10th. So you always need to prioritize. It's more of a budget. I mean, what do we have? I always look at any given point, there are things you sometimes want to do, but you actually don't have the finances to do it. So I always say the ability to succeed in that area of finances is to do what you can with what you have right where you are.
Okay.
That has always been.
All right, interesting. You certainly, of course, your parting shots and your last words in terms of business lessons.
It's something that is actually very dear to me. And it's something that I've always wanted to share as many times and with anyone that I come across, is that every moment in business only happens once.
Okay.
This is to say that if there is a business that you actually admire out there, don't go to copy exactly what they are doing. You simply need to look at what's working for them and what's not working for them, and figure out how do you do something different. That has always been my one thing that I always follow.
All right, thank you so much, Alex Liwali, who's the founder of Fundes. It's been great having you. And once again, we're looking forward to have you some other time as we get together more information from you in line with business.
I appreciate it. Thank you for
Thank
having me.
you.